You gotta say something about it, and then say something else about it, and possibly say something else about it. And welcome back to the Angry Teacher channel. I'm Richard Williams, the Angry Teacher. If it's your first time here, thanks for coming by. I want you to peruse the channel, look at the playlist, and see which ones speak to you. Like, for example, with this video, it would be nice if you checked for high schoolers because, you know, you're making that next step from middle school to high school. Check those videos out so you kind of know how to function when you get there, right? And I need you to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will be updated on the next dope Angry Teacher video. There's always one coming out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so you'll be entertained and educated. If you've been here before, you know I love y'all. You are the reason the brand is here. You are the reason we're growing 500 plus, and I'm excited. Let's get into the video. Now, there's some things that you need to learn. You know, I'm an English teacher, so these are some writing/English tips that you need to survive in middle school. They teach you these things in latter elementary, I believe, up until middle school, and then you use it to survive high school. So this is what those 10 tips are, just survival things for English or in high school in general, but you should have learned these in middle school, all right? So these are just 10 things that you need to survive English in middle/high school, but I'm gonna say middle school. All right, let's start with that. Price it out. So you want to say, you want to introduce your evidence, then you cite the evidence, and then you explain the evidence. For example, people don't like dogs. That is according to Jonathan Swift, who says people don't like dogs. This means that they don't like the idea of blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. That's basically what you need to learn how to do. Say something, get somebody who said it, you know, put their name in there, make sure it's legal, and then explain what they're trying to say. Make sure you know that skill in middle school to take it to high school. You need to know what the theme versus the topic is. If I'm talking about animals, my topic is animals. My theme would be the joys of owning animals or pets at that point. That's the difference. One is just like an idea, the topic. It's broad, it's general, and then the theme is a little bit more specific. Is it a positive theme or a negative theme? The joys of owning pets or the negatives of pet ownership? That would be a theme versus just animals or just pets, all right? Make sure you know the difference, guys. The thesis statement, number 3. Now this is where it gets even more specific, and it needs to be a little bit longer than just the joys of owning pets or the negatives of pet ownership, right? So a thesis statement could be something like, it behooves us to own pets because they bring joy to our lives and they inspire us. That's your thesis statement. It's a whole sentence that makes sense, and that's what we're going to be writing about throughout the whole essay that we're going to be given. So we have the topic, that's just like one broad statement or sentence, one broad word, and then, or idea rather, and then you have the thesis, which is the theme rather, which is a little bit longer, but it's no more than maybe 4 or 5 words. So, you know, the negatives of pet ownership, and then you have the thesis, which is a complete thought, and it's a lot longer, and it's about a sentence, and that's where you have the points that you're going to be writing about in your essay. All right, know that. Spelling and vocabulary. These are some things you got to know. You don't have to be an expert speller, but there's some things that you need to remember. For example, the I before E rule. Where does it come in? I before E, except after C. So when you have words like receive or deceive, you put the CEI versus the IEV. You know, it just depends on what the word is. And so when you see these, you need to be focused in on it, because you know that your spelling has to be on point for those words because of the IE rule. And that's just one of the examples. You know, these are things you need to remember when you are writing or when you are thinking about middle school/high school English. Number 5, essay structure. You know, you need to have the intro, the body, and the conclusion. Now, do you have to tell us what they are? Not by using the words in conclusion. However, you need to have an idea, you introduce the idea, then you break down the idea. What are you saying about this topic? What about this idea that you like or don't like, or what are you trying to tell us in the whole body? And you break the body up in little parts called paragraphs, and then you end it, you wrap it up. Now, I'm at the end of this, and this is what I want you to get from this paper, from this essay. That's how you make sure you remember that for writing when you're in middle school or when you get to high school, because you have to have an introduction. We got to know what you're going to tell us about, and then you've got to break down what you're talking about. What do you want us to say? It can't be one paragraph. You got to give us 2+. All right. So if you are passionate about it, if you have to tell us about it, why am I going to sit there for one paragraph? Come on, it's got to be longer. It's got to be broken up. You got to say something about it, and then say something else about it, and possibly say something else about it, and then you wrap it up. Remember that format, okay? For all of those big ideas to come out, you got to know the little parts, types of sentences. You got to know at least those 4. The simple, complex, compound complex, and the compound sentences. They're all parts of this paragraph that we've been teaching you to write. So you got to remember those, you got to try to use them, and you got to take them to high school with you. Now, in elementary, I know you remember when they had you take out the little crayon box and you used to write and color and do all this stuff, but you got to, that was in preparation for annotations. You got to know how to annotate stuff. Selective highlighting. You don't just color the page. Everything on the page is not necessarily what you need. So you've got to figure out what you need and highlight those words. Circle words. You need to know the signage that you need to use for annotations. What will you be able to go back in a couple of days and the signs will make sense to you? You need to practice that, and when your teacher is teaching this to you in middle school or elementary, those little squiggly lines and all that stuff, and the spelling, the SP and whatever else they're teaching you, please pay attention to it, because you're going to need to know what those are, and you need to use it in high school and beyond. So number 7, I believe. No, this is number 8. Argumentation. You got to know what an argument is, and you might not have the verbiage for it right now, but it's going to come up in a lot of what you talk about, and then they're going to throw rhetorical devices at you and rhetorical strategies, but you got to know what an argument is. So you have a claim, I hate candy, the evidence is here, this is what happens when I eat candy, the counterclaim, but does it only happen when you eat candy? And I refute, you go against the fact that you don't have to hate candy, because whatever, you can like candy. And the rebuttal, well, you know what, I still hate candy. So whatever argument you have, you got to know this argumentation, you got to know the structure, you got to know different parts of it, so that when your high school teacher, or when you get to 8th grade or whatever, and they start throwing all these words at you, you're going to need to remember that this is what those mean. So whenever they introduce it to you in middle school, please pay attention to it, because argumentation is very important when you get to the next level, and we're prepping you to pose an argument and have substantial claims and refute a claim. These are things that you're going to need to know. Number 9, and we all know y'all love this, because when you get to high school, that's all I hear about, especially the regular simple ones. Literary devices and rhetorical devices. We know simile, metaphor, onomatopoeia, pun, all that good stuff. You're gonna need to know them. Ethos, logos, pathos. Now, we roll them off the tongue, but you gotta know what they mean and how they work and why they're used. So these are, pay attention when you get those lessons. When the teacher asks you every time you read a story, oh my God, what is this? You gotta know what it is, because that's how you make your reading exciting and fun, and your writing as well. Lastly, number 10, typing and the ability to navigate a website and do a little bit of research. Now, do we expect you to know everything? No. Do we expect you to be the best typist ever? No. But you gotta know how to navigate and function on a keyboard and a computer, because those skills we need. Now, you're going to need to write and know how. And For the love of God, please learn to pay attention when you're doing scripts. Do they still do script writing? Because, you're gonna have to sign stuff. And writing your name is not a signature. That's so forgeable. But that's not a signature. So you need to know how to sign it. With that said, you've got to also know how to navigate a computer and a keyboard. Simple PowerPoint, simple Microsoft Word, going on a Google search and not just looking at the first page, clicking to the next page, scrolling down, realizing when you look at dictionary.com, the first entry may not be the entry that you need, so you gotta scroll down and see which one fits the context of what you're using it for. So these skills, 10 of them that you kind of need to remember when you make that step to middle school, through middle school, and to high school, because they are important and essential to your success. We want you to succeed. These skills will get you there. That's all the time I have for you right now. Make it a great day. I need you to go out there and be great.